Sam Hartman has announced that he is headed to Notre Dame for the 2023 college football season and that he will be a part of the Fighting Irish in the 2023 season. We're back to some more transfer portal news, and today we're going to be talking about Sam Hartman and his decision to play at Notre Dame for his 6th year of eligibility. Played with Wake Forest for the past 5 years, and he's been a successful quarterback with Wake Forest, leading them to several successful seasons. And so today we're going to be talking about Sam Hartman moving to Notre Dame and whether or not this could potentially make Notre Dame a national contender with an already talented roster and adding an outstanding quarterback that is very much a possibility. So that said, let's get into it. Sam Hartman is a quarterback that once again has got tremendous experience, and he's had a lot of success with Wake Forest. And Wake Forest is a team that really hasn't had that much success in their program's history. And so for him to bring the success that he did to Wake Forest, a team that usually doesn't have that much recruiting talent, I mean, it was extremely impressive what he was able to do. And Wake Forest was a contender the past few years in the ACC. And just thinking about Sam Hartman moving to Notre Dame, a team that's obviously got better recruiting talent, I mean, I think this is a huge deal for Notre Dame here, and this is exactly what the Fighting Irish needed. You look at his stats over the years, this is a quarterback that's thrown for over 3,700 yards in the past couple of years. Both 2021 and 2022 were his best seasons, I'd say, by far. And you could say that 2022 was even better than 2021. I would argue that. He threw 2 less picks in 2022, and his completion rate was also 4% higher. So he's only getting better. He hasn't hit his ceiling yet. And, I mean, that's also a huge deal when you're looking at quarterbacks, is seeing whether or not they've hit their ceiling yet. And this is a quarterback that you'd obviously want out of the transfer portal because he's only improved over the years. You look back to 2018 when I don't think he was the full-time starter at quarterback in 2018. He had Jamie Newman in there at some point. I forget what years he played, but Sam Hartman wasn't the main starter from 2018 to 2020. But 2021 and 2022, it was his job to be the starting quarterback. But you look back to 2018, 1,900 yards, 16 touchdowns, 8 picks, 55% completion rate, nothing too great. 2019, more of the same, nothing all that special. And even in 2020, it was better, you could argue, but still not that good. And 2021 was his breakthrough season, 39 touchdowns, over 14 picks, 59% completion rate. 2022, even better than that. Once again, I would argue with 38 touchdowns, 12 picks, and a 63% completion rate. So once again, you throw him in Notre Dame, and I think this is once again a massive addition for the Fighting Irish. So if you're looking at Notre Dame's situation, Sam Hartman almost certainly will start at quarterback unless he gets injured or something, which we obviously don't want to happen. But yeah, it is his job for sure, considering the impacts that he had on Wake Forest. Drew Pine was the primary starter for Notre Dame this past season. He has already transferred to Arizona State, so he's not even in the quarterback room. But Tyler Buckner is. He did play in the bowl game, and he's been with this team, I think, for a couple years now. But yeah, Tyler Buckner, he remains in the quarterback room. Will probably be the primary backup to Sam Hartman, I would assume, if he does stick around with Notre Dame. Hartman brings experience and excellence to this team. There's no doubt with that. You look at his career with Wake Forest. I mean, there is a possibility that he was just going to declare for the NFL draft, and he probably would be a fairly high draft pick if he were to go into the draft this season. I mean, this was the perfect time for him to go to the draft, but he obviously felt like he had unfinished business in college, and so he is headed to Notre Dame to potentially pursue a college football playoff appearance or even a national title, which is a possibility, I do think, for Notre Dame next season. And I mean, this places Notre Dame very much in the national contender conversation. I mean, this offseason, I think there's going to be talks about Notre Dame being a top 15, top 10 preseason team. I think I've personally got Notre Dame ranked definitely in the top 15, but I do think Notre Dame is very much potentially a top 10 team. And all of my way too early rankings coming out soon, but yeah, Notre Dame as of right now is at least in the top 15 for me. We'll see where they land eventually, but yeah, this team is very much in major national contention, I think, going into next season. But if you look at Wake Forest on the other side, looking at their situation, this will be the first season without Sam Hartman since 2017. It has been a while since Wake Forest hasn't had a great starting quarterback somewhere in there. And Sam Hartman's departure is going to probably set up a rebuild, I would say, for Wake Forest. This is a team that is losing a decent amount of talent going into next season. So that does concern me a bit if you're Wake Forest. And obviously losing an outstanding quarterback like Sam Hartman is not going to be easy. But I do think Wake Forest with Mitch Griffiths, we haven't seen him play too much, but I'm assuming that he's going to be definitely in that conversation to be the starting quarterback, at least going into next season. And I mean, if you look at his stats in 2022, we didn't see him play too much, but he did throw 348 yards, 5 touchdowns, over 1 interception, and a 71% completion rate when he played. So, I mean, those stats for only playing and throwing the ball 41 times, pretty good. I mean, yeah, he did. He didn't really play that much this past season, but when he did look fairly good. So there's potential there, I think, in Mitch Griffiths, and there's a chance that Wake Forest is just fine with him at quarterback. But obviously, it's going to be questionable looking at this team going into next season because of that uncertainty at the quarterback situation, whether or not Mitch Griffiths can play at a high level or even compare up to Sam Hartman. But Brett Griffiths, I do believe he's related to Mitch, his brother. He is transferring to James Madison, so he's not even in the quarterback situation anymore. But it seems as if Mitch Griffiths will be the primary starter for this team going into next season. So for Wake Forest, definitely a negative impact when you're losing a quarterback as talented as Sam Hartman is. He's argued to be the best quarterback in the transfer portal for this offseason. So this is a huge land for Notre Dame, and it's obviously a huge deal for the Irish. And looking forward to seeing how Notre Dame does next season with Sam Hartman now in the quarterback situation. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this transfer portal news with Sam Hartman. And I appreciate you guys all watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.